Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, Daisy's Beauty. I'm starting off today with my eyebrows already done, and I'm using the concealer, the LA Girl concealer in shade Fawn, to prep my eyelids for the eyeshadow that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to go ahead and place that on both of my lids, and then I'll go ahead and blend that out with a Real Techniques brush. I'm using this as a base today so that my eyeshadows will last longer and also stick better, and the pigmentation of the eyeshadows will also be better as well when you prime your lids. So I'm blending that out with the Real Techniques brush. The eyeshadows that I'm using today are going to be from the Juvia's Place Afrique palette. I'm going to be using the color Cameroon as a transition color. As you can see, I'm placing it on my lid first in the crease, and I'm going to go ahead and blend that downward. I'm going to do that on both eyes, and I'm going to make sure that I blend it in very, very well, because I'm only going to be using two colors today in this neutral glam look that I'm doing. I'm only using two colors from this palette. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to blend that out. I'm still blending it out, adding a little bit more color, but still just blending just to make sure that there are no harsh edges or harsh lines, because I want it to look very seamless in my eyeshadow application. So the next color I'm using is Angelique from this palette, and I'm going to go ahead and use that as a lid shade. I'm using my finger to apply this eyeshadow simply because I found that the pigmentation was a bit better rather than with a brush. I find that with most shadows, not just this one, that it's better when I apply with my finger and then I blend out the edges later with a brush so it won't be so harsh. But I just get better pigmentation overall in the beginning with the application using my finger. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bit more of Cameroon, and I'm blending out the edges of this eyeshadow just so I won't have any harsh edges on the ends, and it'll just look a gradient effect. It won't look like it's two different colors, although it is. It'll just have more of a gradient effect. So I'm going ahead and I blended that out. Now I'm going ahead and I'm taking some mascara, and I'm just placing that on my eyelashes just to prep my eyelashes for my falsies that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using the Eyelure times Jasmine Brown eyelashes in the style JB. They're very dramatic lashes, but when I'm doing like a neutral glam, I like to have dramatic lashes if my eyes are going to be simple. Now, as you can see, they're very dramatic, very beautiful, they're very comfortable, and I do love them. For my base, my foundation today, I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place foundation in the shade Somalia number 350. Now, with this foundation, it is very thick, and I found that out very quickly. It's very thick foundation. It is a velvety matte. That's what it's described as a velvety matte, and it is that, but it's also very thick and full coverage. Now, this is my first layer of foundation, and I blended that out with a Morphe brush. But with this foundation, I found that I want to try more techniques. So as I'm trying this foundation out, the next few times, I'm going to use different brushes or sponges or whatever it may be to go ahead and see which one I like the best. So far, I've used like 2 or 3 different techniques with this, and I find that I like putting it on with the foundation brush first and then blending it out more with the sponge. It gives the best coverage, the best look, and it just looks the most natural to me, if I can say it that way. If a full coverage foundation can look natural, it looks the most natural to me in that manner. So this is my second layer that I've just placed on there in the areas that I felt like I needed a bit more coverage. I put a second layer on. Now, after I place the second layer on, I'm going ahead and I'm taking a sponge, and I'm just blending out further around my face to just make sure everything looks seamless. I'm taking the Juvia's Place concealer now in the shade 15, and I'm applying that. This shade was a bit too light for me. I could have went down a bit more in the shades to get a color that was more compatible, closely matched to my skin tone, because that's usually how I like to wear my concealer. But in this video, I'm going to show you how we can combat when you get like a lighter concealer versus your skin tone, or if it's too light or a shade that you don't like exactly. So I'm just blending that out with the Real Techniques brush under my eyes, making sure everything is nice and blended. With this concealer, I've tried it out a couple of times. I've used it as an eyeshadow base. I use it as a concealer. I use it to carve out my brows. And it is a very nice concealer. It's not full coverage in my opinion. It's more of like a medium coverage concealer, but I do like it. I'm taking a more closely matched concealer to highlight the other parts of my face. I'm using that same LA Girl concealer in the shade Fawn to go ahead and do my forehead, the bridge of my nose, and my chin. I did put a little bit of that under my eyes as well, which I'm blending out right now to go ahead and combat the lightness of the Juvia's Place concealer that I had before. Now I'm going ahead and I'm blending that out, making sure everything looks seamless, nice, and fine before I set that. I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place powder in the shade Kalahari to set today. Now with this powder, I find that it's similar to the Fenty powder, not in the texture or the fineness or anything like that, but in the application. And what I mean by that is, with the Fenty powder, I cannot bake with that. I have to dust it across the parts that I want to set on my face. And that's the same application technique that I have to do with this powder. I cannot bake with this powder. If I bake with it, I'm going to look patchy and it's just going to look a mess. I have to sweep it like I'm doing lightly with a nice fluffy brush across my face, or I'm going to look crazy basically. And that's the same thing with the Fenty powder. I have to sweep that across my face. I cannot bake with that powder. So right now I set all of my areas with the Juvia's Place powder, and now I'm just bronzing up my skin a bit. I'm using the Wet n Wild's pressed powder in the color Dark Cafe, and I'm just going around the edges of my face, making sure I have no harsh lines, bronzing up my face a bit. I'm not really contouring. I don't really do that for natural looks, but I am using this powder to sort of bronze my face up and set the other areas. Now I'm using the pressed powder, the Black Radiance pressed powder, and I'm just setting the other parts in my face that I haven't either bronzed or anything. I'm just using this to just kind of blend everything on my face together so that it looks nice and seamless. So I like using like a powder for that, like another foundation powder for that, because it adds a bit more coverage, and two, I found that it gives me the most seamless look. Now I'm taking the NYX Black Bean eyeliner, and I'm just lining the bottom of my lash line so that my eyes can pop a bit more. I like this look on me, especially when I'm doing neutral looks or any look really. I'll either take more of a champagne white color or a black color, and I'll line my bottom lash line with that. I like that it pops your eyes for you. It makes you look more defined, and I have small eyes, so I like that. I'm going ahead and I'm taking my highlight color, which is also going to be from Juvia's Place, and I just put that in my inner corners just to finish my eyes off. I'm taking a dark brown liner, and I'm lining my lips so they can be a bit more defined for the lip color that I'm using today, because the lip color I'm using today is on the neutral side. It's a very nice lip color, but it's more on the neutral side. It's going to be the shade Pepper from Bite Beauty. Now with this lipstick, I find that it applied very nicely. It was creamy, but not too creamy, and I really liked it. It lasted. It was a very, very nice lipstick. So I'm applying that now, sort of in the middle of my lips. Not more so. I'm not lining my lips with it or anything, because as you saw, I just lined my lips with the dark brown lip liner. So I'm just putting that in the inner parts of my lip. Now I'm taking that dark brown lip liner and I am lining my lips again with it, and I'm just making sure everything is defined and blended. I don't want anything to look harsh. That was my overall thing for this look. So now I'm going to go ahead and spray my face. I'm spraying my face and setting it with the Makeup Revolution Fixing Spray. It's the green tea scent. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply my highlighter. I'm using the Juvia's Place highlighter. And as you can see, I'm putting it like really above my lips, just the bridge of my nose, around the edges of my nostrils. And I'm not connecting it all the way on the bridge of my nose, just a little bit, like a dot on the tip of my nose and a small line on the bridge of my nose. I don't like connecting it. It's too harsh for me. I don't like that look. And I'm taking a bit more and putting it in my inner corners to make that pop a bit more as well. I'm going to take it now and I'm going to highlight my cheekbones. As you can see, that was very bright, and it's going to be a lot. You're going to see it in a second. So obviously I applied too much highlighter at this point, and I noticed that I applied too much highlighter at this point, but I'm going to show you how to fix that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish highlighting the rest of my face, my cheekbones, the rest. I'm going to put a little bit more on my nose, as you just saw. And this side looked a bit more, it looked more natural. It looks more, the application was better. I think I should use a different brush, but I'm going to keep working with that as well. I have different highlighting brushes, but for this look I used this one. And this highlighter is very, it's a lot. Like it's a bright highlighter, so you have to be very careful. Now to fix this issue, I'm taking my powder brush, no extra product, and I'm just blending all of my makeup together so that I can tone that highlighter down just a bit. Even on my nose, my forehead, I just blended everything together. That way I can tone that product down a bit without taking it away or taking all of my makeup off or anything like that. Then I'm going to take a sponge and I'm going to blend further. It doesn't have any product on it, but it is damp sponge. And I'm just taking it and blending everything out on my face. That helps when you make mistakes like that. So this is the finished look. Everything looks nice and blended. It turned out absolutely beautiful. This look was nice and it was comfortable. It was a comfortable look. I didn't feel like I had too much makeup on. It was a nice neutral look, my favorites. And you guys, that's the end of the video. This is a look that you can get in less than 15 minutes and it's absolutely beautiful. You can go from basic to this look in less than 15 minutes. If you guys like this video, go ahead and comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to always give someone your smile today. I love you guys and come back next time. Bye-bye.